Presence of our Lord. Heavenly Father, as we gather this evening in fellowship as Rotarians, aunts, and guests, we thank you for the gift of community, friendship, and the opportunity to serve others. Tonight, as we listen to our guest speaker, Atty. Damian, and learn more about the challenges surrounding online sexual abuse and exploitation of children, grant us wisdom to understand, courage to confront difficult realities, and compassion for those who are most vulnerable. May this discussion inspire us not only to be informed, but also to be advocates for the protection, dignity, and well-being of every child. Help us in creating safer communities and build a brighter future for the next generation. Bless our fellowship this evening, our families, and the service projects that unite us in Rotary's mission of service above self. May all that we do tonight bring hope, understanding, and impactful change. This we ask you in your holy name, we pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. May I request everyone to put their right hand on their chest for the Philippine National Anthem to be followed by the RC Makati hymn. And so that we may commit to the four-way test to mind and heart, may I request that you repeat after me. The four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and bring better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And the resounding answer is yes. Angie, ma'am, Angie, she here? Okay, the list. Okay, okay. We would like to acknowledge any visiting Rotarians or guests present today. I don't have a list. Okay, welcome.
My classmate, Bobet Vera, Rotary
Thank you.
Club of Makati, Premier District. Soon to be our member.
Okay. And may I request all Rotarians, Makati Rotarians, please stand with me and greet our distinguished guest with this beloved welcome song. Where is our guest? Oh my God. Okay. Apologies. Let me recognize in the room tonight our guests, PDG Tony Kila, PDG Sid Garcia. All those in attendance, please take your seats. Tonight's Ann's Jenny Faye Edwards and Angie Kila. All right. Our guests, Jen Reyes of the Masanyang Familia. Mike Turville and his wife, Kathy. UGP Bobet Vera of RC Makati Premier District. And from Rotaract Club of Makati, Martin Revilla, the director. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, thank you, everyone. It is time to acknowledge our Rotarians and celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. The birthdays of Rotarians, Tony Lopez, Makoto Numata, and yours truly turning 39. The Rotary Anns are Chip Marty, Paula Dyrit, Betty Davis, and Queenie Mills. The wedding anniversaries are Mark and Marilyn Gan, Johnny and Christina Ang, Director Annie and Joanne Manyalak, Toto and Bessie Cruz, PP Renee and Lou Lemhoko, Warren and Kathy Liu, Gani and Teodi Beneflor, and Rick and Bonnie Santos. May now request our resident singers to lead us in the singing of the birthday and wedding anniversary song. Sir Louis, may we have your assistance?
Sabi ko kay Richard, where's Junjun? Andy, come on. You cannot just leave me here. So we're going to sing. 1, 2, 3. It's your birthday. Let's celebrate. Important day. We greet you deep in our hearts. Still a happy birthday and happy wedding. Day.
Thank you, fellows. Okay, may I call on PDG Tony Keela for the induction of our new member? And that new member, Mike Turville.
Thank you. Can I call on Michael William Turville up front? Did you have your lovely spouse? Can I also invite you? Michael is sponsored by Kit Harrison, and his classification is wellness hospitality. Now, for charging, can I ask PDG Sid Garcia to do the charging?
Okay, so Mike, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati, I would like to warmly welcome you to our club. And I'd like to thank Kathy for lending us Mike. So I hope you will allow him to attend more of our activities, right? So thank you again, Keith, for introducing to us an outstanding member of our community. Mike, you have been invited by Keith because he knows that you excel in your vocation, which is hospitality. And let me just say that, joining the Rotary Club is a gift to us, but more than us, you're a gift to the world. So I would like to ask you to make that gift worthwhile. And how do you do that? You need to be engaged. And to be engaged means active attendance in our club meetings, volunteer to be a member of a committee, and we would like you to consider your profession, your vocation, as a means to further your contribution to society. You are in wellness, hospitality, so perhaps this is an area that you could lend your expertise. And it is, of course, a responsibility to be a member of this club. As you have been oriented, this club is not only one of the biggest clubs, but one of the clubs that has lent so much to humanity, most especially to a lot of Filipinos all over the country. And we are already on our 60th year of service to our various community, and we would like you to be a part of that. No? Now, to do that, I'd like you to think about how you can participate in our activities, as I have mentioned. Secondly, you need to have a close relationship with our members. So aside from regular attendance, make it an effort to meet the new members. So in every meeting, try to look for a table that you don't know anybody And from there, as we say in Rotary, acquaintance is the beginning of fellowship and service. So we look forward to your active support, to your active participation in this Rotary Club that we are in. Of course, we'd like you to invite Kathy, as we do have a lot of activities with the ants, and it's certainly going to be a big plus for us to have Kathy join us in these activities. Now, in a week's time, in a few weeks' time, we will enter the new Rotary year. So I think it's a perfect time for you to assess how you can participate in the plans of our new president, the new board, no? Like, for instance, Keith, I think Keith, he is, President Chris would like to promote sustainability. And I think this is an area wherein is very close to your hearts. So Chris, you have a potential member for your sustainability committee. Yeah. So with that, I'd like to invite our president to induct our new member.
Thank you, Sid. This will be the last induction for this Rotary year.
Can I ask everybody to stand up to lend solemnity to the occasion? Okay. Mike, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. After being sworn in as a member of the Rotary Club of Makati,
after being sworn in as a Rotary Club of,
as a member,
as a member of Rotary Club Makati,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will abide by,
that I will abide by,
follow, and uphold
follow and uphold
all the provisions of the Constitution
all the provisions of the Constitution
and bylaws of Rotary International,
and bylaws of Rotary International,
as well as those of my Rotary Club,
as well as
those of my Rotary Club,
those by Rotary Club,
and fulfill to the best of my ability
and fulfill to the best of my ability
all the duties and responsibilities
all the duties and responsibilities
of my membership.
of my membership.
I pledge to advance the object of Rotary
I pledge to advance the objectives of Rotary
and to exemplify Rotary's maxim,
and to exemplify Rotary's maxim,
service above self.
service above self.
I further swear to promote awareness
I further swear to promote awareness
of the theme of Rotary International
of the theme of Rotary International
in 2025-2026,
in 2025 and 26,
Unite for Good,
Unite for Good,
and of the duties and responsibility
and the duties and responsibility
that go with it.
that go with it.
All these I pledge freely and voluntarily,
All of these I pledge freely and voluntarily,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Got there in the end. Oh, here we go.
Later, sir. Later.
All right. So, okay. You have to good. What about? I got struggling to hear you, and then I got it. Sorry, so maybe so loud, you know. Welcome, Mike. Very happy to have you. No worries. No, good time as any. I'm more traveling now. Welcome, Mike. Easy to remember. Yes, yes. Welcome. Welcome to the club, mate. Next time. No, I'm done there. I'm breaking.
Yeah, thank you.
Gonna come right here. Okay, good. So now we can. You should try and sleep in it, yeah. Sorry, no, I couldn't do it both, so I just quickly did it.
Okay, thank you, Mike, and welcome to the club. We will now proceed to the club function and committee announcements. May we ask any of our committee chairs or anyone from the audience who would like to share an announcement with the club? Is there any announcements from the chairs? Okay.
I'm just. I'm pleased to announce that we'll have pest control will be in here very shortly. Not for the moment. All I can say, because we seem to have an infestation of moths. But anyway, I apologize for that. Today, the Rotary Club of Makati came second runner-up in the Tournament of Champions of the annual golf tournament. Now, obviously, we would like to be champions. We have 38 members in the golf committee, and we had 9 members playing. So I'm encouraging those people who are on the in the list. There's one I can see. There's another one. There's a few. Okay, but please, the winners had 27 people there today. Best 4 score counts. So they pull all the stops out. But we will do better next year for sure. And we had a good day, and you'll see photographs in the coming days, I'm sure. Thank you.
Great news, Keith. Thank you very much. Now let us call on President Eddie Galvez for his time.
Okay. Magandang gabi po, fellow Rotarians, aunts, guests, and friends. As we enter the final stretch of this Rotary year, it is wonderful to gather once again in our home, our clubhouse. A place that has served not only as our home, but also the venue where ideas were born, friendships strengthened, and projects transformed into meaningful impact. I am particularly pleased that our guest speaker today is Atty. Ruby Cortes-Damian of our brother club, the Rotary Club of Kawayan, in Isabela. Her presentation on online sexual abuse and exploitation of children, or OSAEC, and human trafficking comes at a very relevant time for our club. This year, we have made child protection one of our priorities through Project SafeNet, our newly approved global grant in the amount of $94,854. Well, yeah, in fact, just to let you know, we will be signing with the mayor of Valenzuela to launch this project on June 30 at 1 p.m. So anybody who's available, that date was chosen because that was when Mayor Rex Gatchalian is available to sign with us. This will greatly help communities in Valenzuela City, which has been identified as a major hotspot by PAMA, our NGO partner. To this initiative, we hope to strengthen awareness, prevention, and community response mechanisms to protect vulnerable children and their families. I'm confident that today's discussion will deepen our understanding of this important issue and inspires to continue taking action. Last weekend also reminded me why Rotary service remains one of the most rewarding experiences of our lives. Together with our partners from the Rotary Club of Parañaque, St. Andrew, we welcome the Rotary Foundation trustee, Ijeoma Pearl Okoro, and Rotary International Director KP Nagesh and their spouses to the Rotary Homes community in Parañaque, with our very own PDG Sid, PE Chris, and a lot of other members. It was an opportunity to show them that Rotary's work extends far beyond building homes. What we truly build are communities, opportunities, and hope for families seeking a better future. Later that same day, many of us returned to the clubhouse to continue our meetings and observe the second session of the second cohort of the AI Academy, which has now 79 participants from 61 the last time. And this time we have 10 participants who are out-of-school youth who were not members of the Sisters of Mary Boys and Girls Town. Watching the students actually participate and embrace new skills reaffirmed our belief that investing in young people's future, most especially the underprivileged, remains one of the best ways to create lasting change. Of course, Rotary is not all about meetings and projects. Fellowship remains one of the pillars that keeps our club going. Last Thursday, Rotarian Rante Aguila hosted a stag fellowship at Mamacita in BGC, attended by more than 30 members. I know a lot of you were there. Good food. I think we finished 5 bottles of whiskey, but a lot of whiskeys and wine. It was a wonderful evening of camaraderie, laughter, and meaningful conversations. Again, thank you, Rante, for your generosity and for helping strengthen the bonds that unite us as a Rotary family. And he told me, before the year ends, he wants to do another one. Sabi ko, pare, tama. Oh, one more daw. Sabi ko, wala na tayong panahon. As we approach the end of the Rotary year, several exciting activities still lie ahead. From June 12 to 18, a large delegation of us, RC Makati members and aunts, will be traveling to Taiwan for the Rotary International Convention. For those still considering attending, there's still time to join us for what promises to be a memorable experience of learning, fellowship, and international networking. Of course, that's also where we will present our flagship project for this year, the Rotary Club of Makati AI Academy. That's on June 17 at 10 in the morning. Following the convention, several members will proceed to Hong Kong to celebrate the 50th charter anniversary of our sister club, the Rotary Club of Peninsula. Earlier this year, we also renewed our sister club agreement, and this visit represents another step in strengthening a friendship that has endured for decades. And I think Keith, no? And Sid, you're both instrumental in making this happen. Thank you. Please also remember that there will be no regular meeting next week, as it will be our designated service project week. And finally, please come on June 23 at the Manila House, all of you. That really will be the very final meeting in the BGC for a night of gratitude. This will be our final gathering of the Rotary year, a chance to celebrate our accomplishments, recognize those who made them possible, and reflect on the lives we have touched together. I hope to see all of you there. Before I end, I would also like to acknowledge the situation in Mindanao following the strong earthquake that struck the region yesterday. Our Disaster Relief Committee is closely monitoring developments and coordinating with partners on the ground to assess the needs of affected communities so we can do our part. Once the requirements are identified, we stand ready to respond. In the meantime, I ask everyone to keep our fellow Filipinos in Mindanao in your thoughts and prayers. One of my classmates, Choi Yabut, who's an ENT practitioner there, he was right in the middle and he said, wow, he thought he was gonna die. He said it really shook them up. So as we near the conclusion of another meaningful Rotary year, let us remember that lasting impact begins with awareness, grows through collaboration, and becomes possible when we choose to act. Again, thank you for your continued service, and I look forward to another inspiring meeting tonight. Good night at maraming salamat po. Good evening, rather.
Thank you, President Atty. Sorry, just a quick insertion into the agenda. We have a classification talk before we get on to our guest speaker. The classification talk is from Mr. Tonino Habana. Can you come on up?
Thank you. I'll make this very brief. I'm in the engineering field. As you know, engineering has several disciplines from civil, electrical, mechanical, information technology, and so many others. But I'm neither of the above, because the engineering we practice is the consolidation of the engineering to make better buildings. So what we do is what we call building information modeling. We design buildings, consolidating all the engineering disciplines from 2D to 3D. And the advantage of doing that is you avoid all the issues when you build it virtually before you build it. You're able to determine what the problems are. Anyone here who has built a building, a house, a warehouse, knows that when you hire these disciplines, they actually work independently of each other in 2D. And then when your contractor puts all the drawings together, that's when you realize that some beams are not in place, some ducts are running into foundations, and so on. So what we do is we design and build in 3D, and then resolve the issues in 3D. So you can, this is an example of something that we did recently. This is the ice cream plant expansion at Selecta. Just a few more slides. So the red part is the existing facility in Pasig, which produces 65% of the ice cream in the Philippines. Next slide. So what we're able to do here is to integrate the old plant with the new plant. And the old plant has no as-built drawings, so you don't know where the pipes are going. So the technology there is to scan the whole building and create a 3D model from the existing plan, and then integrate that with the new ice cream line. Next slide. So we can split them into systems. This is actually the Berth 8 expansion in the port for ICTSI. So we're also doing the 3D underground utilities for that. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. So this is data center, 6 megawatt data center. This is the actual photo. And then next slide. If anyone doesn't know what a data center looks like, that's how it looks like. Next slide. And then that's the 3D or the digital twin equivalent. So if I were to go into this model, I can walk through it. I can go into, zoom into any pipe, any duct, any generator. This is a 6 megawatt data center. So it's quite big. Well, data centers are measured by the amount of power that it consumes. Next slide. The data center side by side with the photos. Next slide. Project we're doing in Subic, which is a aircraft hangar with accommodations for US troops. Next slide. The other. Next slide. This is a hangar. We design it in 3D, and then it's built eventually when we resolve all the issues. Next slide. Next slide. This is actually the ACTSI hangar of Mr. Enrique Razon. Next slide. So that's it. That's my classification talk. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that introduction to your business and what you do. Okay, now let's move on. Thank you very much for that. May I call on immediate past President Keith Harrison to introduce our guest speaker. Keith.
Good evening. This microphone's not so good, actually. Can I try? Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Maybe I just like the microphone that can help me sing better or something like that. This evening we have a very interesting speaker, and I'm so pleased. I've been trying to get her to come and speak at our club for the last 2 years. Her name is Attorney Ruby to her friends, and she's sitting there, and you will hear from her in a moment. But just to introduce her a little bit more, Ruby has been a Rotarian since 2018. She's a member of the Rotary Club of Kawayan in Isabela Province. She's married to Gilbert. Gilbert was here earlier, but is now preparing for their travel home tonight. She was born with enthusiasm for education and strengthening, having finished her grade school and high school at the top of her class and valedictorian at that. She finished her tertiary education with a degree and Bachelor of Science in Physical Therapy and as an academic scholar. And then whilst working as a physical therapist, she concluded her intellectual achievements with a degree in the Bachelor's of Laws and Letters. Barely 3 months after she was first employed in the Department of Justice in 2015, she was chosen to become a member of the elite Region 2 Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. Just about 26 months in the prosecution service, and she was recognized in 2018 as one of the most number of convictions. She had the most number, gosh, I didn't write this, I'm reading it, that's my fault. She has the most convictions in the prosecution service in Region 2. She was sent to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Skills on a training seminar on human trafficking, sponsored by the Australian ASEAN program on trafficking in persons. Having been trained as such, she's now given the distinction of being a specialist prosecutor in the field of human trafficking. She is also amongst the 8 speakers in the Philippines against online sexual exploitation of children, being a trainer and speaker against online sexual abuse and the exploitation of children. She belongs to the distinguished pool of trainers of the Philippine DOJ National Coordination Center against online sexual abuse or exploitation of children. And she did this in conjunction with the US Department of Justice. Lately, the European Union, GoJust, adopted the project going around the Philippines, training judges, prosecutors, police officers, and investigators, as well as social workers. And she was part of that team. Is that correct? And hopefully you don't get attacked by moths. More notably, our speaker is, about our speaker, she was awarded the #1 performing prosecutor in Region 2. So if you live in Region 2, you go in Region 2, don't do anything wrong because Ruby will be after you. This was in 2023. And in March this year, she was recognized as one of the most outstanding women leaders in Isabela by the JCI Cagayan Valley and the JCI, Kawayan Bamboo. So both of them, one spelling mistake, one correct. Ladies and gentlemen, it's particularly important because we have just secured a global grant in this same field. It is for $93,000 US, and it will be a project to do with children, online sexual abuse and children trafficking in Valenzuela. So with that, and the timing of this, please, I ask you to please put your hands together to warmly welcome our speaker for this evening, Attorney Ruby Damian. So you like to stand, or you? Yeah, I'd like to have that.
Thank you, IPP Keith. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you for the invitation. You know, this has really taken so long. I've been invited 2 years ago, Papo. And last October, was it October last year when I saw you again for the August last year? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, correct. So, nahiya na po talaga ako that I've been trying to refuse IPP Keith. Kasi hindi naman sa ni-refuse pala, but the timing is not correct. But right now, since January, they sent me an email and the message coming from Rachel too, that I should give them time to talk about OSAEC in RC Makati. So that's January. Oh, and then I said, yes. And then I realized, oh my God, yes. Okay, kid. Yes, I am here. And I am here to talk about OSAEC, right? So you know what? I am a trainer. I'm more of a trainer than a speaker. But allow me to introduce to you what an OSAEC is. In this about 45 minutes of your time. I'll be taking 45 minutes of your time, just so I can tell you about what an OSAEC is. Where's the clicker? Oh, sorry. All right. So we will be, close ko na lang yan. So I was informed that you're more interested in the Q&A portion. So let me just introduce to you what an OSAEC is. So an OSAEC is actually the dark side of the web. These are cases whereby children are being exploited, but none of us knows that our children are now being exploited. You know, who among you here does not have a cell phone? See, everybody has a cell phone. And can you just imagine, let me just present to you, that among the 100 17 million Filipinos, there are about 137 cellular phones that are in place. They are connected in the internet and they are active. Okay. So for every Filipino, there's more or less 1.5 number of phones that is being used. Can you just imagine that? And then 98 million Filipinos are connected to the internet. Imagine. So lahat tayo gumagamit ng phone, lahat tayo alam natin na may nangyayari. And whatever is being done in the internet, nobody knows that. Only your children, only you know what is going on between the person you are talking to and between that person who is holding that phone. Okay. So as I told you, among the individuals that are holding their phones, 98%, 98 million, I should say, is using the internet. 117 million Filipinos, 98 million connected to the internet, 130 plus million phones being used. Wow. This is now a source of crime. Anybody who knows what an OSAEC is, have you heard about OSAEC? 1, 2. Ang OSAEC po, in layman's term, is actually an online sexual abuse and exploitation of children with an online concept, meaning to say it is being conducted in the internet. Hindi na ito yung i-abuse, sexually abuse mo lang yung bata. It is being held in the internet. Can you just imagine that the youngest victim of OSAEC in the Philippines now is a 2-month-old baby? You know what's happening? There's a camera. The mother would just put lalagyan sila ng diapers, but the camera nakafocus po dun sa organs ng mga bata. And they get paid 500 pesos or $10. $10, yeah. $10 just to send that picture, just to live stream that picture. You know what's the worst? Sorry, but do you want to hear what's the worst case of OSAEC? The Peter Scully case. The Peter Scully case, i-rape po niya yung mga bata. They would look for children sa mga Jollibee. They invite them, lalo na yung mga bata on the streets who are looking for food. They would invite them, oh, you want some food? You come with me, sasabihin ng mga kasama ni Peter Scully, girlfriend niya itong mga to. Come with me to the house. We'll buy some Jollibee and then we'll give you some phones for use. So yung mga bata, sasama naman. Kasi interested sila, di ba? May Jollibee. Every day may Jollibee. But then, when they went to the house, nire-rape po sila and it is being live streamed. The worst that he did was to ask these children to dig their grave. And then, one more. Just to let you know, kind of abuse, damage, done over the internet. It's that 3-month-old baby, hang the baby upside down, and then they put banana on the vagina of the baby, live streaming. That cost $10,000. $10,000. Picture live streaming. Ganon ang extent na. And the parents, the perpetrators of the crime, the perpetrators are, of course, mostly foreigners. Okay, the facilitators are the parents. You know what? Just ask the children, what will you do? The perpetrator will say, oh, I'll pay you $10, but show me that your child is eating your dick. Or just a simple, ask the children to suck the breast of the mother, but the camera is focused on the breast and the baby. Ganun po ang OSAEC. So this is worst form of abuse. The children doesn't know. Well, definitely they don't know, diba? They would just suck the breast. Oh, you dress up, you put on this sexy panty, and then dance in front of the video camera. We will get some money. We will be receiving money. I'll bring it to Jolly. That is that. So the time spent over use of internet in the entire world, top 3 po tayo. The Philippines is top 3 in using the internet. And the average time that we use the internet is actually 8 hours. Can you just imagine? Daily. For weekly, about 54 hours. And the most number of users come from the children. We have 37 million children using the internet. 37 million Filipino children using the internet. Can you just imagine the risk, the damage that will be caused to these children? Imagine nyo na po. And let me go back to this. Under the scale of harm that has just been published, this is a measure of the prevalence of online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. Nearly 500,000 Filipino children were trafficked and produced a child sexual exploitation material in 2022. That's about 1 child for every 100 Filipino children. Imagine that. We have 1 victim of human trafficking and online sexual abuse for every 100 Filipino children. And nearly 250,000 adult Filipino traffic their children to produce child sexual exploitation material. This is based in 2022. Mas mataas na po yan, but we haven't had any data at all. Okay? The perpetrators, the parents. So there are 3.5 persons for every 1,000 Filipino adult trafficking the children, doing sexual abuse online. This is based on the study conducted by the International Justice Mission and the Nottingham School Laboratory of the United Kingdom. All right? So you see now the danger? Ang laki po, di ba? Just imagine 1 child for every 100 is a victim of online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. Kaya po kayo, if you have children, please don't post their pictures in the internet. Especially so when they're in their bikinis or in their swimsuits. Because every picture is a digital footprint. Hindi na po yan matatanggal kahit anong gawin ninyo. It will stay there forever. Okay? And do you know that one picture would cost like $500, 500 pesos, $10? Yung iba nga, they would just ask the children to eat chocolates. They will just play with the chocolates and then eat it and then focus the camera on the lips of the children. There are perpetrators who have a fetish for that, and they think that the children are playing with them, with their, okay? And it will cost simply 1,500 pesos. So this is really a crime that we should curb. Try to stop. We should do something about this. So at present, we have a reported online sexual abuse and exploitation of children filed in court about only 1,021. And then the number of convictions as of today, 317 persons have been convicted, mostly from Iligan and Taguig area. For Metro Manila, Taguig. For Mindanao, it's the Iligan. For Visayas, it's the Tacloban. Okay? So, person north po, dito sa northern part of the Philippines, very few. We just had one conviction, but it was the accused in this case was in Dubai. He's a Filipino, and then he trafficked the children. He asked the children to send him photos. He befriended them, send him photos, and then, of course, these are high school students. He would send 1,500 pesos just to send him pictures. And then he sold the sexy ones, those in bra and panty, in swimsuits. He sold these pictures to another person. And then, of course, the children were threatened, diba? Kasi makikita ng parents nila that they have pictures, nude pictures, showing their breasts. So what happened next? Hindi lang po umabot sa ganon. The children were asked to go with another person and have sex with them. Otherwise, their pictures will be seen in the internet. Their pictures will be posted in the internet. So, ano nangyayari? Aside from online sexual abuse, we have sexual abuse, rape committed dito na po. But the perpetrator, remember, and the facilitator, he's in Dubai. We can always file a case against a person, even if he is in Dubai, even if he's outside the Philippines, if the victim is a Filipino child. That is provided for by law. Oftentimes po, hindi nangyayari yan. In all other criminal cases, the crime should be committed in the Philippines. But this one, the perpetrator of the crime was in Dubai, right? But the victim is a Filipino. We also have cases where there are American citizens who were convicted in America, but it happened that during the seizure of the computer data, their computers, it was found out that there were children who are Filipinos. They were victims. Their pictures appeared in that computer. So ang ginawa po ng US Embassy, they looked for the children, they brought the children to the US, and then they were given compensation. Yung mga bata, for the damage that has been done to these children, I was one of those who looked for these children. 3 of them were sent to the United States to appear and testify before the court that they were those children appearing in these photos and that they were asked by the perpetrator to dance naked in the river. Ganun lang po. They'll take pictures of you, pictures of children in the river, but these pictures are being sold to another person. And that's where the exploitation comes in. So what we have right now is actually the Republic Act 11930 or the Anti-OSAEC and CSAM law. This actually lapsed into law in July of 2022, barely a new law. Okay? Dati po, ang law lang natin is the Anti-Child Pornography Act. But right now, it's the Anti-Online Sexual Abuse and Exploitation of Children. So it took effect in August of 2022. Kaya lahat po kami, we are 8 in the team who goes around the Philippines, train judges, prosecutors, social workers, and police officers on how to combat, how to investigate online sexual abuse and exploitation of children because this is a different kind of crime. Hindi po madali. How will you prove that the person behind the computer is really the perpetrator of the crime, di ba? Sasabihin, ay hindi ako, nahack lang yung laptop namin, nahack lang yung computer namin. Ganun po ang nangyayari. So it's very hard to prove. So online sexual abuse and exploitation of children under the law refers to the use of ICT or the information and communication technology, in layman's term, computers, as a means to abuse or internet, to abuse or exploit children sexually. How do they get exploited? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, di ba? Just the picture of the naked child, ipapasa sa kanila, ibebenta nila. We have the dark web. You have, sa dark web, sa computer po, you have to become, for you to be able to see these pictures, they would collect some amount of money from the subscribers. And the subscribers would be able to see all these pictures, bold pictures, naked pictures of children. Children doing explicit, sexually explicit moves. They get paid for that. Bawal na po yun. Bawal. Okay. So, not delving on the law itself, what is online sexual exploitation of children? It is the production for the purpose of online publication of visual depictions such as photos, videos, live streaming of the sexual abuse or exploitation of a minor for a third party who is not in the physical presence of the victim in exchange of a compensation. So nagkakaroon po ng exploitation aspect doon pag may bayad na. Ang sexual abuse, pwedeng wala pang bayad yan. Pero gagawin mong object of fantasy yung mga bata. That's child abuse in the Anti-OSAEC CSAM law. Pag exploitation, may monetary consideration na po tayo. Now, what is CSAM? Ito po, do you think this is bawal? Based on what on my kwento, do you think this is a CSAM a material? It can? Okay. Tingnan muna, i-post muna natin yan. What about this one? This appeared in the Nirvana. Who knows Nirvana? It's a group, diba? Album cover of Nirvana. Yeah, they know. So, yes, correct. That's Kurt Cobain. So do you think this is a pornographic material or a CSAM, child sexually abuse and exploitative material? Huh? Well, actually, kinasuhan ni Kurt Cobain. Okay, nag-file siya ng case. He filed the case against the producer for using his picture as a child and exploitative material. However, under the law in the United States, this will not be considered as CSAM. You know why? The focus is not on the genitalia of the child. Okay? It is not. So, but do you know, balik tayo dito. Dito, do you think this is now a CSAM material? No, then, di ba? Because the focus is not on the genitalia but nude photos of children are actually considered as a CSAM. So, depende yan sa circumstances other than, pag-iisa lang siguro, mahirap i-prove that this will be considered as a CSAM or a child sexually abused materials. But, if you take into consideration other issues, other circumstances obtaining as to why that person is holding this material, baka po pwedeng pumasok sa anti-sexual abuse and exploitation case. Okay? Anybody here who has picture of their children, apo na naka-swimsuit in their phones? Do you take pictures of those? Do you know that possession of one CSAM material in your phone can make you liable for OSAEC? And you will be held accountable for that with a penalty of 6 years to 12 years. One picture, nude photo of a child. Hindi ko kayo tinatakot. Yung mga mahilig dyan, mag-pass. If you view that photo that was passed to you, may nagsumbong, may photo dyan, view niya yan, kasama sa GC yan. Pwede po kayong kasuhan. For OSAEC. If the victim is a child, if it's a picture of a child, and it's a sexually abusive and in an explicit position or an exploitative, abusive aspect of, like an act, I should say. No. The law provides that it's only the child victim. There should be a child victim. Okay? Now, who is a child? Mamaya sasabihin ko po sa inyo. So let's say the material is an image of a child's vagina or perhaps breast, but it's not real. Is it still CSAM? Meron po kayo kunwari, nasa cellphone nyo, biglang merong AI lang. Pero bata, tapos ang picture niya is a vagina. Do you think you can be held liable for violation of the 11930? Yes, correct, yes. Because the law says it's regardless. CSAM includes materials that focus on the real or simulated genitalia or other private parts of a body. So kunyari may drawing kayo dyan, tapos baby ang nandyan, bawal po yun. Okay? If you're found in possession of 3 or more photos of these children, na CSAM you can be held liable for life imprisonment. Yes, if it's in an sexually explicit image. Okay, how to prove the age? Meron na po tayo over the computer. It's a program in the computer. So we will be presenting forensic examiners to prove that these are images based on images of a child. Or they would appear as a child. Trabaho na po ng mga prosecutors at investigators natin yan. But yes, you can be held liable for that. Mga anime, you can be held liable for that. So OSAEC includes what? Not just the live streaming, okay? The production, the dissemination, and the possession of CSAM. So you will be held, possession po, isa lang, 6 to 12 years. If you're in possession of CSAM, 3 or more, that would mean you have an intention to sell these pictures of children. And you can be held liable for that. Life imprisonment po tayo. Online grooming of children for sexual purposes. You know what online grooming is? You will try to befriend a child. And then get their attention. And then later on, they will trust you. You'll get their trust. Then later on, you will be sending them money already. And then you will be asking them, oh, can you show me your feet? Ganun po nangyari. Dun sa sinabi ko kanina, can you show me your feet? Picture of your foot. And then picture of your legs. And then picture of your chest. And then picture of your nude buttocks. And then that's it. They were groomed. It will take some time for this perpetrator to groom the child. But that is one aspect that we are looking into, and we will file a case against you if we find that you are grooming children for sexual purposes. Sexual extortion of children or sharing image-based sexual abuse. Meron po tayong case. Mag-boyfriend sila. They're both 17. You know, our children right now, they share pictures of their breasts. Tapos, pero mag-boyfriend lang sila, di ba? One-on-one. The problem is nahuli ni mommy. Si Boyfie, ay yung anak niya na nagsisend ng pictures kasi the laptop was left open. They filed the case against the boyfriend. Okay? The boyfriend was held liable. However, the boyfriend is just 17 years old. So, hindi po siya makukulong not until he turns 18. Diba? Ito po, bakit daw boyfriend lang? Dapat yung babae, diba? Kasi siya, the child willingly shared her photos, shared her nude pictures, her buttocks, the pictures of her buttocks, her breasts, lahat po. You know why? Under the law, even if the child consented to the act, she will be considered as a victim. Okay? The child will be considered as a victim. So only the perpetrators of the offense who are adults shall be held liable. So regardless of nag-consent, pakisabihan po ang mga anak ninyo. Just in case they're sharing their photos, nude photos, please tell them to stop sharing their nude photos or even photos in their bra and panty. Bawal po. Live streaming of sexual abuse, like the case of Peter Scully. Yun po ay OSAEC. Now, how is OSAEC usually perpetrated? OSAEC case is largely family-based crime where the perpetrators are usually parents and close relatives. Halos lahat po ng final natin dito sa Pilipinas, 87% of the facilitators of the crime are parents. You know why? ang reasoning nila, based on our study, ang reasoning nila is, hindi naman sila nire-rape. Hindi naman tinatouch yung mga anak ko. There's nothing wrong with that. Di ba? We just take pictures of them. We just send it to the perpetrators of the offense. Yes, sir. But out of curiosity too. But basically, it's more of economic reasons because of that. Kasi po, you get 500 for a simple picture. Can you just imagine if it's 10 pictures? 5,000 pesos.
Yeah.
Diba? And then sometimes the perpetrator of the offense, the foreigner, would send like, oh, I'll send you to school. I'll give you 10,000 pesos. But you have to keep on talking to me, and then I need you to show your child that that your child is undressed. You're trying to undress your child in front of the camera. Just put some makeup.
No,
Ganun po.
The reason I'm asking that is because I heard from somebody that they do it not because they're really poor. I mean, they're not rich, but they're not really poor. It's just because that they wanted to live a higher lifestyle. Buy a new phone, a bag, whatever, and they use the child as a...
Oh, that's correct. So the purpose itself is actually, well, it's not, well, we want to keep up with the trending
Yours?
times, di ba? Na mataas din yung higher living, standard of living. Di ba? So talagang more on the monetary consideration po tayo. That's why they're doing this particular types of crime. So the parties, perpetrators, the facilitators are the parents, and then the victims are the children. Now, who's considered a child under the law? Under the Philippine law, there are only two types of a child is only considered a child if she is less than 18 and if she cannot fully take care of themselves. However, under 11930, there are two definitions of a child. Dinagdagan po. Those that are computer generated. Kaya nga sabi kanina ni Sir, how would you know even if it's a computer generated, basta nagmukhang bata siya, that is considered as a child. So pag ito. Meron tayong case si Sweetie. Create yan ng Philippine law enforcers natin to track down traffickers. So ginamit siya as a child, tapos nakikipag-communicate siya sa foreigners, and then they were able to track itong mga foreigners who are willing to pay money for children to do a show. Okay? And then a person, regardless of age, who's presented, depicted, or portrayed as a child. So medyo mahigpit ang batas natin pagdating sa online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. Even if you're of age, if you are portrayed and depicted as a child, you will be considered as a child under this law. So you can be punished for viewing the pictures of adults who appear to be child. Yes. Okay. Mostly 80% are female, 20% are male. All right. How is the online sexual abuse and exploitation of children being conducted? Ito yon. Through one example is live streaming, diba? That is an OSAEC. So we have a buyer from outside the Philippines. Ala, hindi ano to. We have a buyer or customer from outside the Philippines. And in the Philippines, we have the facilitator and the victim. Okay? Now, they will communicate through Facebook Messenger, usually and hi, and then they will be exchanging messages. And then, oh, you know what? Yung parents, this is an actual case. Oh, you know what? I have a child. She's sick right now and she needs some help. Would you be able to help her? Oh, sure. How much do you need? I can send in some money if you want, but what will I get in return? So ang sabi ni Mommy, oh, my child can do some show. Or do you want some pictures of her undressing? I can put her on the in front of the camera and I'll ask her to undress herself. Hanggang sa later on, hindi na lang undress in front of the camera. Oh, okay. I will ask my my son to lick my breast. I will ask my son to do this to me. Ganun po ang extent. So they will be using the Facebook. Please don't, if you have children, don't use roadblocks. Binaban na po yan. That's a source of OSAEC. Roblox is a gaming app, parang Minecraft, ganon. If you have heard of this, marami na pong cases in the US. I was there last October, and I was able to talk to the FBI agents, so our partners, and they said we have problems with Roblox. Kasi they would just be playing with each other, but then they would ask the children, okay, we have to transfer to another, like a group chat. Tapos doon na sila mag-uusap. Tapos mabubura kasi yung group chat. The problem is if you, volatile ang data pagdating sa group chat. Okay? Unless, ikikip nila yan. But sa Roblox yata hindi. Okay? So nagkakaroon po ng problem doon. So please stop your children from playing with Roblox. Okay? After they talked with the person or the perpetrator of the crime, the buyer or the foreigner, magkakaroon na yan ng bayaran. And they will use Zoom, LBC, Pera Padala, World Remit, PayPal, etc. All this Zoom, World Remit, PayPal will be our witnesses to the crime. Kasi we will have to prove that there was exploitation. Okay? Ang hirap, di ba? Nag-usap lang si mother tsaka ano. Paano kung binura nila yon? Paano kung binura? What if they erase all the messages? Actually, in the Messenger app, we can retrieve some of the messages. But we will have to ask our forensic examiners to do that. So not all naman binubura nila. Okay? So that's how we will prove that there is online sexual abuse and exploitation of children through live streaming. Another way of how OSAEC is usually perpetrated. They use internet as a means to perpetrate OSAEC, but usually they commit physical abuse against these children, making them perform sexual acts in front of the camera with their siblings or other children or with the perpetrators themselves. And then the customers who demand for these pictures or contents from the perpetrators, they would direct the children to do whatever it is that their fantasies allow during the live streaming. Okay? Ito na yung sinabi ko kanina about sextortion. That if you send some pictures later on, hihingi yan ng hihingi. The more that you send, the more that we will ask you some pictures, and then later on, they will tell you, oh, if you do not send any nude photos of you, I will post this in the internet. And that's it. you're already a victim of sexual abuse and exploitation. Okay, you don't need this to hire, employ, or coerce a child. Bawal po to produce, direct, or create any form. If you self-promote those with businesses sa Tagaytay, I guess. There's one, sir. Yeah, please don't promote children. That you are employing children or any pictures which appears any picture of women who appears to be a child. Don't post it because you will be held liable for that. But of course, I know that you're not doing it. I just to remind you. Because if they appear to be like child, even if they're adults, you can be held liable for that. To recruit, okay, this one. If you introduce or match a child to a foreign national for the purpose of committing any of these acts, bawal po yun. Even if you just introduce these children. And then for film distributors, bawal po na mag-show sila ng mga pictures. And then lastly, ito, sexualization of a child. Please do not sexualize your children such that you present them as an object of sexual fantasy. Ayan o, children lang yan. Pero yan, yung mga photos na yan, bawal po yan. Those are CSAM. And you can be held liable for violation of RA 11930, and that is life imprisonment. For those who can file a case, if you know somebody you can file a case, ito yata yung sa program ninyo sa Valenzuela. If you know anybody's committing the offense, please report it. Your names will be withheld, but also the names of the children will never be divulged. It's important that we keep our children safe. Their names, the names of their parents. Pati po sa mga cases that we file, we don't put their names. We just put AAA, resident of blank, blank, blank. But at the back page of the information and the complaint, the names of the children appear. In the decisions of our courts, they will keep the original with the names of the parties, but those that are presented before the media, kung magkukuha kayo, names are all withheld. Names of the children and their parents. Until when can you file a case? 12 years. So kunyari nangyari ngayon, the children has been traumatized. After 12 years, okay na, or after 5 years, saka pa lang sila nagsalita, you can file a case. You can still file a case. Kasi traumatizing yan. The children, you will never get the children to speak at once. Right after you rescued them, they will not talk. It will take a while before they will tell their story. So why are we here? We should cultivate community-based reporting. That's our role, okay? Please, the public should cultivate increased reporting of trafficking to produce child sexual exploitation materials from the community and support efforts to deter traffickers. And lastly, we should, alongside increased law enforcement interventions and additional local efforts to prevent, frustrate, and disrupt the trafficking of children to produce CSAM, we should be deployed through robust community-based norms, change, and sensitization. So yun ang gagawin nating mga Rotarians. Let's go to the grassroots. Let's educate them. And please educate our parents and responsible use of internet for our children. That is our role. Thank you very much. And Yeah, I hope I shared something for you.
Thank you very much for a very informative presentation. I think a lot of us didn't realize the depth and scope of online sexual abuse of children and how awful and horrible it is. Is there any questions from the floor that they would like to ask the presenter?
If
Sir Eddie.
if you don't mind, our partner in our global grant who's going to implement our ano is here, no? Her name is Jenny. I'd like her to explain just in a few minutes. I told her very short exactly what it is that they do.
Absolutely.
So, good evening, everyone. So, I'm Jen Reyes. I'm from the Masayang Pamilya Organization, Inc., or MAPA. In English, Masayang Pamilya means happy family. So, we're glad that we're able to partner with Rotary Club of Makati for this project. So, the title of the project is Strengthening the Reporting and Prevention of OSAEC. And our implementing LGU or local government unit is Valenzuela City. Okay, so you already have a 45-minute introduction about OSAEC. And a part of me, I know all of you or most of you are actually cringing and saying that this is really disgusting topic. And you are correct. Okay, but I think for attorney and myself, we're a bit used to this. That this is actually the reality that's happening nowadays. And when we give talk, we say that, you know, that right now there could be at least one child who's actually a victim of OSAEC, of online exploitation, because it's very rampant nowadays. And the problem with it is it's a silent crime. Okay, so what does it mean? You're not aware, or even sometimes the parents or the children themselves, they're not aware of OSAEC. Okay, so Attorney Ruby already told you what is the mind of a perpetrator. Okay, how does it work? How do they access? It's very accessible because of the internet. Okay, so it's I was telling President Eddie, parang grabe ang bigat. What I'm going to say after, but what I'm going to tell you is that there is actually hope when it comes to OSAEC, because what Attorney Ruby is doing is awareness. Okay, which is what Sir Eddie mentioned earlier. Awareness is the start of impact. So I'm glad that all of you are cringing right now, because I think it's your first time to hear about what's actually happening in OSAEC, or what OSAEC is, and also the extent. Earlier you're saying na grabe, no, parang you need to desensitize, which is true. When we work with social workers, it's normal for them to talk about the cases, and some are actually more I don't know how to say it, but it's really parang I don't know how they're able to stomach it. Okay, so what we are going to do with the grant that we receive is we're going to address both the reporting and the prevention of OSAEC. Okay, in the Philippines, what we have right now is a lot of reporting. Okay, magaling tayo doon. The response. We established what we call the PCPC in the barangays. There are centers, schools, there are different institutions that you can already report about OSAEC. So you have the schools, you have the communities, you have the LGUs, the social welfare offices. Okay, but what is lacking is the prevention. Okay, because we think, and just like what Attorney Ruby mentioned, more often than not, it's the poverty or economic. But in some of the studies, it's also saying that it's the Filipino values. Being or having OSAEC, it's an easy money. For you to earn 500 pesos nowadays, okay, if you're, what you call this, what do you call that? Daily wager. That's like 8 hours of work for you, right? But in this case, just one photo. Why would I, ba't po ako magbibilad sa ilalim ng araw para kumita ng 500? If I can just take one photo, and that's already an instant 500 pesos. Some of them, they have decent work before, but having the comfort of your house, just doing OSAEC, Again, no harm, no touch, no harm. That's the mentality. But now we know that there are a lot of psychological effect of also of OSAEC, not only to the children, but also to the parents. They're losing the value of how to take care of their children. They're seeing their children as something that's object. There's no relationship. They're seeing a source of income. And Attorney Ruby is correct because in some areas, off the record, Angeles City, okay, when you go there, it's common that there's a strip, parang neighborhood, townhouses, apartment. And it's very quiet. Most of the parents and children are just at home. Okay, they're taking photos or more often than not, they are doing OSAEC. Okay? And no one is reporting because one, when I report, the government is not gonna do anything. Okay? Or when I report, baka ako yung mapahamak. Okay? But in Valenzuela, what we are trying to do is we want to strengthen the reporting. Meaning, if you report, something is actually gonna happen. And just like what Attorney Ruby said, it's a community-wide effort. It's a very complex issue. And you're correct, poverty is one of the issue, but there are a lot of factors also affecting OSAEC. It's the mentality of the parents. It's the awareness that it's actually wrong. And we have to debunk, or we have to change the thinking that no touch, no harm. Okay? So in Valenzuela City, with the grant that we are receiving, we will strengthen their reporting system. And I think one of the things na naging interested yung Rotary Club was in the business sector. Because there are a lot of businesses sectors, specifically remittances, computer cafes, shops, even hotels and restaurants. They're unaware that OSAEC are already happening. Okay? So that's what we are going to do with the grant. And we hope that Valenzuela City will be the model for that one so that we can scale or replicate this approach to other LGUs so that little by little, we're going to have impact and we're going to fight against OSAEC.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, do you have a question?
Yes. Familia, yeah, that's the name of our organization. Yes. Yes.
Seminars basically to educate the parents.
Yes. No, not just the parents, but we're also gonna do what we call the youth participation because if the parents are trained, we also have to train the teens because yung teens ngayon mas close sila sa friends nila rather than their parents, right? So it's a community-wide approach that we are going to have programs for the parents, for the teenagers, for the, you call it the multidisciplinary team. They are the teams who are working against OSAEC, like the social workers, the doctors, the prosecutors, etc. And then we're also doing the businesses. So it's a community-wide approach.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess I have a question, if you don't mind. If I got my stats right, you mentioned that you think there's over 500,000 children who are subject to the abuse of the OSAEC. Is that correct?
Scale of harm. Based on the report and the conducted by the scale of harm by the IJM and Nottingham School. Yes, there are about 471,000 Filipino children now that are victims of OSAEC.
And then I saw the other stat saying that I think only 1,000 successful prosecutions have taken place.
Correct.
So what is the federal government and the local governments doing proactively to prevent this from happening or prosecuting perpetrators? Is there a centralized task force in the national government that is working to find these criminals and these type of situations, or is it all just reported to you and then you act on it?
No, we have like 18 task forces in the Philippines, aside from the task forces that we have in the airports. There are task forces there that monitors the ins and the outs of our perpetrators of the crime. So if you are suspected or if you are known as a child trafficker or child abuser, or you have a report, because most of the reports are coming from NECMEC from the US. It's a national center for missing and exploited children. They forward the papers to our law enforcers, and our law enforcers will be warned that one traveling foreigner is coming to the Philippines and he is being suspected as one of those who commits online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. Remember, and I should not be saying this, but Facebook reports your communication and you are blocked if you do OSAEC. Messenger, lahat po, and nasa messenger, you are being flagged, you are being watched. So we have a record of sexual offenders coming from the United States or from the Australian Federal Police and the Interpol. We're working closely, hand in hand with them. We're collaborating because we cannot just do this. We need our foreign counterparts. That is why we have task forces in the Philippines, and then we collaborate with members of the law enforcement units, specifically of the AFP, Australian Federal Police, Interpol, FBI, and one from the Union Police Office.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Keith, would you have, sorry?
Okay, so my question is, so you come across a case and you've got some happy kids in a family and you've got a mother or a father, or perhaps both of them, committing, and when you prosecute, those parents are then taken away from their children forever. And I guess that upsets some of the kids. They then blame the one who was, if you like, the victim for causing the problem of their parents who never really did. And how do you deal with that? Or is that something that is dealt with in another part of society? But how do you deal with that in the legal side of things?
Handling OSAEC cases is a multidisciplinary approach. Okay, we have the social workers who works with the family of those affected individuals. Okay, the prosecutors will be in charge of filing the case, prosecuting the case before the court. But social workers, there are trained social workers who will handle the family, those affected and those who are not affected. And then we will all try to give opportunity for the parents to plead guilty to lesser offense because they're the parents, if they have children who should be taken care of. Because we believe, and based on study, it's still the parents who should take care of their children and not the government, not any other person. So after probably 3-5 years, we'll try to reintegrate these offenders into the society, taking into consideration the best interests of the children.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we're out of time here. Can we take one last question here?
Yes, sir. We have a record of that. Even the children who are affected, actually the children who are affected, they will be taken to a particular Bahay Pag-asa, or no, it's not Bahay Pag-asa. Bahay Pag-asa is for the CICLs. The children who are victims of human trafficking, they will be placed in a particular haven where they will be taught about how to take care of themselves if they are already of age. But for very little children, they will be given to some of the relatives, family and relatives of the children themselves. Because sabi ko nga po, they believe that the best interest of the child will be taken care of by members of the family. So, but of course, they are being monitored. There will be weekly visits, sometimes monthly visits. I don't know, because we are lacking in number of social workers at this particular time. And we, members of the task force, your trainers from the DOJ, we are 8. There's 8 of us, aside from our forensic examiners, forensic experts. We go around the Philippines, entire Philippines, to lecture, to train individuals, to tell them how to deal with OSAEC. And sabi ko nga po, I'm going to Zamboanga next week, June 22 to the 27, to conduct training again for judges. Even judges are being trained by us because this is a special case. This is a special crime, and it's not an easy job. It's not an easy case compared to all other cases that we handle. So meron po tayong specific task force. I think for every city in Metro Manila, there's a special task force. So please coordinate with them in case you have, if you receive or if you know of any problems or if you know of any activity related to OSAEC. Otherwise, if you cannot contact them, you can contact me. I can tell them. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Attorney. An incredible presentation, eye-opening, and I think a lot of people in the room are very well informed today than they did when they came into the room. So thanks for that important presentation. President Atty, do we have a response?
Yeah, just real quick. Thank you very much. I think considering the global grant we just got, this was a very timely, topic that we discussed today. Thank you, Keith, for inviting Attorney Ruby. And it was not a very comfortable topic, for sure. And I had friends that told me, you're going into something that's for them unsolvable, But I said, you save 2 or 3 children, that's worth it. So where do you start? You got to start somewhere. So you can't give up on this thing. So thank you very much, Attorney Ruby, for sharing with us your insights. And as a small token for appreciation, we have a Reef Bud project in La Union, and this was in partnership with your, Winston Uy. Yes, you know him. So this was in yes. So this was in partnership with this company. So 1 reef bud will be planted in your name. And while you're enjoying, have a bottle of wine. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hey, good night. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, before you leave, we have the raffle for the bottle of wine. Let's start the raffle. PP Junjun Tarit. Hey, congratulations.
Maybe we can count. Kasi